Welcome to the Pastor G Show. Thank you so much for watching the show. My name is Lindani Gumede, and it is really one of my privileges to share content with you. I love sharing content, love teaching, love history, love what I do, and hopefully you can learn something new in this content. And so today, what we're going to be discussing is the interesting issue of classism and where classism started, looking at a gentleman by the name of Plato, and also we are going to be discussing 16th December, how it all happened, the history of the 16th of December, all starting from the Battle of the Blood River on the 16th of December, but also what happened before that, commemorated this whole day, and how it was changed in 94 when the Democratic Party took over, the ANC took over when there was democracy in South Africa. Okay, so let's start on this topic of classism and how classism started. It started with a gentleman by the name of Plato. Plato is quite an interesting philosopher, and interestingly, there's also the Platonic relationship that he was really quite influential on, and also even on this issue of classism as well. And so Plato created this thing called the myth of metals, which was something that was quite, it was fictional. It was a lie. And so he created this whole lie, because it was this lie was, the motive of it was to control society, and it was also to box society. And so yes, it was quite interesting. And so what are these metal myths of Plato? So he believes that all citizens are born from the earth of the city, making them siblings and deeply connected to their homelands, right? So each person has a specific type of metal mixed into their soul. Each person has a specific type of metal that is mixed in their soul. And so there are three types of metals, in fact four, but the third one coexist. And so he writes that there's the gold metal, or the gold status, there is the silver metal, or the silver status, and then there is the bronze and iron status or metal. And so what do these all mean? So if you are classified as gold status, or if you have gold metal in your soul, it literally means that you were destined to be a ruler. You were destined to be a guardian. You were destined to rule over society. You were classified as someone who is wise and capable of leading. And so when you are put on gold status, you were a ruler, you were the ones who's capable of leading, you are classified as wise, and you are the guardian of society. Then those who are in the silver category, the silver status, or had silver in their metal in their souls, were the ones who were in charge of the law. They were almost even the polices. They were the ones who were the soldiers, the ones who were tasked with protecting the city and enforcing law. And so when you're in the silver status, you were the one who was actually the one who is the protector of the city, and also the one who is or has the responsibility to be a soldier and protect the city and enforce law. Then the bottom status, the last one, which is the bronze and iron, are those who are the producers. Those are the ones who are the laborers, the craftsmen. It's also classified as the farmers as well. They were the low ones in society, and they were the ones who would provide material needs of society, and they were classified as the bronze and iron. So those were just the laborers were the ones which is classified as in the bronze category. And so this is where all this classism started: the gold, the silver, and also the bronze and iron, all for the purpose of controlling society. And Plato does say that this myth that he shares is actually a lie. He does say that it's a noble lie. It's fabricated, but he sees it as necessary and beneficial falsehood to maintain social harmony. And so that is why he created this myth of metals. Interesting. And he believes that everybody needs to accept their role and responsibility. It's also interesting that some people, depending on the birth of their child, if the child is birthed, it's possible that depending on how the child is, it says this: Plato allows for some mobility in the myth. If a child is born with a different metal, then their parents, their role in society will change accordingly. And I do wonder as to how does Plato, how did they even assess the metal that you were born with? How did they assess the soul and know that, okay, your soul is made of gold, therefore you are going to be a ruler. Your soul is made of silver, you're going to be a ruler. I mean, you're going to be the one who enforces law. Your soul is definitely bronze and iron. You were destined just to be a laborer. I wonder how they knew this. Interestingly, also they say that the talent and the ability, not just birthright, also determined one's position. So also dependent on your talents as well. Your talents also dictated which status that you fall under. So that was quite interesting for me when I stumbled across the myth of metals and how classism actually started. Of course, there are some ethical questions to it as well. There is lots of justice questions towards this whole issue as well, and who gives the right for whoever to say that you are gold status, you are silver status, you are bronze status, and you must be humble with the status that you are given. You must be humble. Sit down and be humble. But I think it's quite an important discussion to have, because I believe that it is still in existence in our world today. All right, so let's jump to the 16th of December, also known as the Day of Reconciliation, which is celebrated in South Africa. But it was not the Day of Reconciliation in the 1838. It all starts in 1838. What happened in the time of the 1838? Obviously, I think we are aware that a lot of Europeans were moving to South Africa. The English had quite a huge influence in South Africa, and the Voortrekkers were also moving into KwaZulu-Natal. They were hoping to coexist with AmaZulu, and also, you know, when it comes to land and cattle, and so this is actually the gathering from the research that I've discovered, that they were wanting to coexist in AmaZulu as well. And so their leader back then was a gentleman called Piet Retief, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to quickly make sure. Yes, the gentleman was Piet Retief, and he was searching for land and a peaceful coexistence with the Zulu kingdom. And in his search, I guess, for land and wanting to, you know, coexist with the Zulu people, there was a king then called Udingani Gasenza Gakon. And so the king Dingani also was quite welcoming, I guess, of the Voortrekkers as they migrated to KwaZulu-Natal. But what happened was that King Dingani invited Piet Retief to come over to have this land treaty negotiation. But actually, apparently, from what I've discovered from the article, is that he actually was tricking Piet Retief. It was a whole pretense for negotiation, and the Voortrekkers actually brought some cattle as a form of goodwill gesture, and then Dingani actually accused them, or King Dingani accused them of theft and ordered that they would be executed. And so Piet Retief and his executives, or his party, were executed in February 1838. This then sparked a lot of conflict between the Afrikaners and the Zulu people. What happened then is that also King Dingani actually launched various attacks on the Voortrekkers, actually killing a lot of the settlers, and there was intense conflict. Then on the 16th of December, what happened was there was a gentleman called Andries Pretorius, and Andries Pretorius prayed and made and said to the Lord that if the Lord grants them victory, that he vows that this day will be a day of thanksgiving to God, and it will be this day will be known as the day of celebration, that God has given them victory, and it's a day of the vow that God has, they have vowed before God that that they will make this day a day of celebration and giving glory to specifically God. What happened is that Pretorius and his soldiers, with the firepower that they had and the strategy that they had, defeated the Zulus at the Battle of the Blood River. The Battle of the Blood River. The Voortrekkers had a bit more firepower. In fact, superior firepower compared to the King Dingani and his army. And the Zulu people got defeated, and on the day, as Andries Pretorius said, he would dedicate the day as a day of thanksgiving to God. And from there, the day was actually called the Day of the Vow, or the Day of the Covenant. The Day of the Vow, or the Day of the Covenant. Interestingly, then in 1961, the ANC, almost 120, my maths is not mathsing now, but over 120 years later, the ANC formed Umkhonto weSizwe on the 16th of December 1961 as a military arm or military wing to fight against apartheid. And yes, and they did. The MK really did fight against this oppressive system called apartheid. Later on in 1994, when democracy was introduced to South Africa, they changed the 16th of December to the Day of Reconciliation, because they saw that it was quite an important day for the Afrikaners, but it was also quite an important day for the liberation movement. And so they were trying to create a day where people would come and be united, remembering our history together, but also to be united, to create a united, to create something that would unite all of us as a people. And so that is the history of the 16th of December, if you were wondering. And I hope that this has been quite informative. So yeah, I hope that you can actually do more reading, maybe on the Battle of the Blood River. And yeah, please do let me know in the comments what you do or what you have discovered as well. And even with regards to the formation of Umkhonto weSizwe on the 16th of December 1961. So yeah, All right, I hope this has been very informative, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch the Pastor G show. Thank you. Please do continue to like, subscribe, tell your friend to also watch the video and to like and subscribe. Thank you once again, and I hope that you have an amazing day.